Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Got a lot to talk about, a lot to rehash. So let's just go right to it. Just get into it. So, all right, Glenn makes Chloe's come back, as we know from his little adventure. Wrong show, my guy. So we'll get back to him in a minute. Emma is struggling right now with Gary. Gary's been snapping at her. She's struggling with that. She feels like she's failing. It's kind of be a lot of the running theme with Emma throughout this episode is she feels she's failing. She does not do good with that. She says that, it's tough. You have two sisters who kind of have, in her words, in a sense, their lives together, know what they want to do with it, have careers. And here is Emma at 34, still kind of being a little bit of the black sheep, I guess, of the family. Chloe says back to him, says to Glenn, because when he got there, he kind of walked right past Glenn. Glenn didn't even realize it, that he was here, because when he comes back, Glenn's like, "Oh, you're here." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, Glenn's being Glenn." Okay, listen. If this was Carrie, if this was Sandy, oh shit, if this was Lee, he would have been fired. Okay. Sandy has no problems firing a chef, as we know, okay? And hell, even Jason wanted to put up with this shit. He wanted to fire him, but he wouldn't put up with this shit. And any one of those people would have fired him. But here comes Glenn, our sweet baby Glenn, our sweet Canadian. I know. We get that rep. I understand. Listen, we're not all nice. Trust me. Don't cross me. But here comes Glenn, and he's just like, "Hey, buddy, guests are going to need to have lunch at like 4 o'clock, and we want to make sure they have lunch in time before we have to, have dinner. And, I understand you really wanted to go have fun out there. I do get it. But, do you think we can get it? Do you think we can get it done? You think you think we can get it done? And 20 minutes? That's all okay, great. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. Sorry. By the way, I threw that in there. Sorry for, having to make you come back and everything, but we really need to get these out. I'm like, Glenn. Glenn was pissed. Don't get me wrong. Glenn was pissed. But with the Coys, Glenn is like, "Hey, bud." Like, oh God, Glenn, please. Let the people know that Canadians can be bitches too. Okay. Anyway. So, so he says he thinks he can get ready in 20 minutes, which would be about 4:05, so 5 minutes past the time, so not bad, right? He explains, "Listen, I know, Glenn, you may not have been used to a chef coming out of the galley before. Like, I know maybe you haven't seen that in your, I don't know, 40 years of experience, but, yeah, I've come off of the galley before. I used to do it with my other captains, and they were a little more laid back about it. And I'm good. I got this. We can get this done. I got it." Spoiler alert, y'all. He don't fucking got shit, but we'll get to it. Guests get there, and they go straight to the table because they want to get them eating in time before, so they can have enough time for dinner and everything. They get to the table. And guess what? Like I said, he's not ready. He's not ready at all. Because when Daisy says everyone's seated, he's like, damn it. Like, he's not ready. And we kind of see the clock going. We have 5 minutes past the time, 9 minutes past the time. One guest apparently hasn't had breakfast. And I said, okay, that's your problem. Okay, that's your problem. I don't care. Okay, you didn't have breakfast. That's on you, honey. Like, he served breakfast. You just chose not to eat. Like, I understand everyone's hungry and you're all ready to eat. You, ma'am, sit there and shut up. And she's probably been drinking too, and she hasn't eaten anything. That is careless. Careless. Now, that's careless. Then he mentions here, Cloyce does, that, oh yeah, maybe the chicken could have, gone for like another minute. Sir, 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 when I hear that a poultry dish could potentially have gone a little longer, you put that shit back in the oven and you let that cook for another minute. Okay? Okay? I don't wanna be eating raw ass chicken and then I'm polluting the then sea. Are you kidding? Put that shit back where it came from or so help me. This is ridiculous. A minute? Could you use a minute? I mean, I know probably I don't know, maybe it was raw. I don't know. I don't the only thing I need to have a little pink is beef. Okay? I don't think you can get away with I think pork still has to be cooked to a certain point, you know? Chicken? Chicken? Needs to be cooked. Put that shit back where it came back from, please. No. Mm-mm. But I could use another minute. Maybe you shouldn't have gone out to the floating utopia and gone and cooked your food because that's your job, is what you're being paid to do. Idiot. Anyway, now it's been 11 minutes, 15 minutes. Then all of a sudden it's 5:15 and I said, I thought lunch was at 4. What happened? This is so bad. That's really bad. So I'm not even sure if they really started right at 4 o'clock. They probably didn't start right at 4, or sit right at 4, but it's still been anywhere from half an hour to 45 minutes that these people have not eaten or have been waiting to eat. Ridiculous. So Glenn tells the guests after lunch that there is this little island down there and we see it, and it's apparently haunted by mermaids who will just drag people off of their boats and drown them. Heard that story a few times in different places. Yeah, yeah. And they're all about it. They're like, that is my jam. Let's go out there. Let's take the tender out there at night. And I'm like, and then die, ma'am? I mean, mermaids aren't real, I get it, but what if this story is real? What if there really are mermaids that are just down there, just taking people under? I don't know. What if they're sirens? They're worse. They scream in your ear and then kill me? And I don't think so. I would do it though. I'd do it. But I then may not be allowed to tell a tale, but I'll do it. So Cloyce decided, so this is again, these are the guests where the the main guest is turning 60. It's her 60th birthday. So you obviously the appropriate thing is that the chef is going to bake a cake, right? No, incorrect. You would be incorrect. Pressed an incorrect key. We are not baking a cake. Are you kidding? Cloyce doesn't bake a cake. He buys one. What? Again, like I've said, we have had the likes of Marcus. That's the only person I can ever come up with because I loved him so much. And I think he was one of the first chefs, or maybe the second chef that I ever saw on the show. So Marcus is always my go-to. I loved him. Marcus out here making 10-course meals, making science version food thingies that what was it called again? Where you make foods into different shapes that don't actually are like, if you're making like a banana, you're gonna make it in the shape of like, I don't know, a toilet paper. So I don't know. Like that's what he did too. And it's just like you had him doing stuff like that and you out here buying a store-bought cake and it looked like shit. Like I would not have chosen to buy that. And that's what he bought. And I was like, what? Again, instead of going to the floating utopia of doom, you decided to go out there when you should have been, I don't know, baking a cake. Letting that shit bake, sit, cool off, do the thing, whatever. And instead you just go to Six Flags. What's wrong with you? Like, I don't understand. So that's what he's doing. Um, we have like a mermaid here because they're gonna do like a mermaid themed thing for her birthday. I thought, okay, so she's watched Mer People, as did I, loved it. And yeah, so we have a mermaid here. And of course, now I see a mermaid and I just watch it so differently. I'm like, oh, that tail is really, it was a nice enough tail. I think maybe she needs to get a new one soon, but it looked really nice. I think there was a little bit, there were some, imperfections with her tail, but it's fine. It's fine. Um, It must be really heavy. And I said, is she going in the water with that? Is she going into the ocean with that? Because that's impressive. I only ever saw people in pools and the big tubey thing in the Las Vegas casino thing. I've only ever seen them in pools and stuff. So this is going to be really interesting. So I'm like, she going in there? She going to go in there with her heavy ass tail? And of course, yes, she needed help to get to the water because she can't do it by herself. So Davide helped her. So that's great. And then, we see her there. She's everyone sees her. They're like, oh my God, mermaid. Are you real? I said, no. Where did you see a real mermaid? Next, he said, okay. Anyway, so she's out there, splashing the water with her tail, all, pretty. And then she goes into the water and she did good, y'all. She did a really good job in there. She's graceful. She didn't do any like a lot of tricks or anything like that, but she's really graceful and stuff. And I said, she's doing really well. Good for you. And she was able to probably get herself back up on she got the arm strength. She was doing really well. And I'm like, good for her. I hope they paid her well. And then someone hook her up with Mer Taylor so she can get a better tail. A little bit of it was a beautiful tail. I've seen better. She had a beautiful tail though. She really did. It's just a couple of imperfections. That's all. But you do you, girl. You're doing good. Okay. So, um, Emma is helping Daisy put some sparkles on her because she's again the theme of the night, mermaids, and all of a sudden, Deanna, she just comes and she's done like her sparkles. She looked like she did a really good job. And Emma's like, for fuck's sakes, that looks really good. I can't do anything right. Look at my work. My work is really bad. But she's just so good. Damn it. Like she's really beating herself. It's like one thing after another. I'm like, God, what did she do? Who did she hurt in a past life? Because my goodness. Then we have a little bit of a situation with Danny and Deanna knowing who's boss because Daisy basically says one's gonna be, I think Danny's gonna be on service, Deanna gonna do cabins. Or maybe she flipped it. No, she said Deanna's gonna be on service. Danny's gonna be in cabins. And Danny's like, I really wanted to do service. She's okay, fine. You can ask if you want to do service. And she's like, okay, who did cabins yesterday? And Danny says, I did cabins yesterday, like during dinner service. And she's like, okay, well then switch it. And Deanna, this little whiny little bitch, she's just like, I don't want to do cabins. I did cabins earlier. Like, I don't want to. Why do I have to do cabins? Can I just stay on service? Like, what is going on? And I was like, your boss just told you to do a job and you're whining about it. And you're fighting in front of her about you don't want to work. That's like me going to my boss when he says I have to do a dictation and I just be, sometimes I do, but so I was, like, I have this little whine about it. I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to do that. Do your damn job. Okay. Anyway, so we find out here that Glenn, because he's having dinner with the guests. He's 63, y'all. He is 63 years old. This man is 63 years old. He looks good. Like I would not have even thought he was past 60. You do you. We have a DJ coming on, and the only reason I mentioned him is for what's to come after this. So we have some cake drama. Surprise, surprise. Because this dummy, as I've mentioned, does cake, buys a store-bought cake, then warms the said store-bought cake in the microwave, which I never. And it becomes a heaping pile of cow dung. If you know the movie, you're my people. In the middle of the plate. It's absolutely horrendous. We thought Jono was bad. I mean, my God. At least his was intentional. Anyway. He's like, don't you worry, I'm gonna fix this, quote unquote. And I'm like, you can't fix this. This can't be fixed. And he puts like whipped cream around it, which didn't help. It looked worse. But while he is quote unquote fixing said cake, they're going to basically just take the guests up to the DJ so they can start that party and then present them with the cake, and then hopefully they can be distracted by the DJ to not focus on the cake. But when they do that and whatever, not a single person touched that cake. Not a single person touched it. I don't blame them. The DJ, after doing his DJ set, parties basically with some of the guests, and he is flirting hard. He's going into the hot tub. They're having a grand old time. I swear one of them probably wanted to take him back to her room. It was a whole thing. But then he's like, I gotta go. And Daisy says that she has a little bit of an idea for the girls because their cocktails suck. Yeah. She's like, we're gonna do a little bit of like a cocktail class after charter to have like each of the crew basically order a cocktail, and it gives them practice, which is not a bad idea. We'll see how this is going to turn out in a minute. Emma is told that she is doing lines improperly. She's not doing them tight enough. And when Gary's like telling her like how to do it, he says, put your body into it. And he's telling her how to do it. And he's like, okay, you understand? And she's like, mm-hmm. He's like, mm-hmm, or you understand. Which I agree with him on that. It's like, don't say mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because it just sounds, it's dismissive. It's dismissive. Even if, like, I understand where she's coming from. She feels like she's being attacked. But, like, it's not good, girl. It's not good. And he thinks that she has years of experience. Am I incorrect? Didn't she say a year of experience? Not years, plural, just a year? Like, I don't know. Anyway, Daisy tells Glenn, because she's gonna start some shit. She's like, Cloyce is sucking bad. Yeah. He didn't make a cake. He bought a store-bought cake and then ruined it. And then let's not forget, like, I told him he shouldn't go on that excursion, but he didn't listen to me. And then like lunch was late because of it. And what they basically decide on doing is that Daisy's going to try to rectify it herself without Glenn involved, see how this next charter goes. But if nothing improves, then he's going to get involved. And we don't want that. No. Anyway, they go through the tip because guests are gone. We go through the tip. Tip is $25,000. That's not bad. That's really good. That's really good, actually. Deanna and Danny are doing their little class now, their little cocktail class. And Deanna basically makes a drink for herself and for Gary. And then dips, she's like, I don't know why I'm like doing this. Like, I don't understand like why like I have to do this. Like, we're on like break. I want to rest too, guys. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this. So like I'm doing the one, and then I'm just gonna go upstairs, and yeah, like I don't know why I have to do this. I know that's what she sounds like, but that's what she sounds like in my head, okay? And I'm like, okay, but here's Danny doing it. She's being a sport about it. She's making the drinks. And you're just fucking off with Gary, of all people. And she's frustrating me. And I knew when I saw her face, she's going to frustrate me, but she's frustrating me. And when Daisy comes and she's like ordering her drink, Danny, like, she doesn't say anything at first, but she waits for that moment. And she's like, I don't know why Deanna left me to do all this by myself. Like, I don't know, where is she at? And Daisy's like, okay, let me go get her. And she goes upstairs and she finds her with Gary. And she's like, you left her all there by herself. Like, you're going to do this yourself next time because you're making her do it herself. And Deanna's like, I didn't like leave her though. Like, why would she say that? I gotta go. I gotta go fix it. I gotta go. What the you left her. You complained and left her. What are you talking about? We watched the show. It's on camera, you know? And she goes down to Danny and she's like, why did you tell her that, like, I left left you. Like, I didn't leave you. And then she's in the moment. She could have just, like, come and gotten me. And, like, instead of telling Daisy that I, like, left her, she had a problem. She could have just said something. What, leave the bar when everyone's making their little drink orders and she has to, like, dip out to go find you? You're grown. You know what you should be doing and not doing. Like, what? Anyway, then because like she hides off in her room because she's sulking, and Daisy has to find her. She's like, I just don't know why. Like, I have to do it. Like, it's our off day. Like, I don't want to do it. And I can still say, well, I have to do it. Like, why can't it be tomorrow? Like, why did it have to be today? Which I understand what she's saying. I do, but then you should have communicated that with Daisy instead of just dipping off with Gary again, of all people. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, they're gone. They're doing dinner, and basically the only thing I want to talk about here is Glenn by himself playing. I think he was playing Sudoku, and he's gets to say, "You put this here and there." Yeah, baby. I love him so. He just my heart swells. I love him so much. Yeah, baby. Oh man. Then Emma asks Deanna, when they're in the car heading to the club, do you like Gary? And Deanna's like, no, I don't like him. And she's like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? It's okay if you do. Like, who you like. And she's just, she's, you know, trying to have, like, talk bullies, And Deanna's like, okay, like, if I liked Gary, then I would have just said I liked Gary. And, like, the fact that you keep asking me, like, if I like him, like, it's kind of pissing me off. And, like, I don't like him. And now let me cry and sulk and get my eyes all teary because I'm so fucking sensitive that I can't just, like, have a conversation without, like, crying or getting, like, water in my eyes. Seriously, she looked like she was sulking in a corner because how dare anybody ask her if she has a crush on Gary, which I would too. Okay, I would also cry. But at the same time, like, calm down. What's going on? Um, then when they get to the club, everybody, Deanna and Danny talk to Daisy and they're like, oh my God, like, Emma was so aggressive in the car. Like, she kept, like, asking if I like Gary, even though I told her no. And, like, she's so aggressive. Like, it was scary. Like, she wouldn't stop. Like, I don't know what her problem is with me. She doesn't have a problem with you. She was just saying that she thought you liked Gary and this was, like, questioning everything because you fucked off with Gary again, of all people, while Danny was doing the drinks. So it's a legitimate question. I think. But anyway, Daisy goes to Emma and she's like, what did you say to the girls? Like, they're like petrified. And I'm like, that's not the right word to use. But anyways, but she's like, they're petrified of you. Like, what did you say to them? And she's like, I didn't say anything. What the fuck? And she's like, I won't get involved anymore. Like, why can't I say something? Well, listen, she's pissing and we're just filming. But anyways, she's like, I'm not going to get involved anymore. I was just saying something to say something. Like, I didn't mean anything by it. And they're so scared of me. Like, why? Like, I'm not going to get involved anymore. And she basically goes to them and says, like, they're like, oh, what's wrong? And when she gets there, and Emma's like, well, apparently you guys are petrified of me. That's because I asked a question. Like, I'm not gonna like get involved in anything anymore because like I can't say shit without people just blowing things out of proportion. And then Deanna's like, okay, but like in her in the moment, she's like, don't like be mad at me. I mean, you started this, Emma. Like, fuck you. That is that is the equivalent of when Tim told Alex, I never want to see you again. That's the equivalent of what this was. I'm like, did she, what did she do to you? we were like, fuck you, Emma. Like, what? She just asked you if you like the guy, and clearly you must like Gary, of all people. There's not much option. Like, I don't know. But it's like, if you like Gary, you like Gary. If you don't, you don't. Like, get over it. I don't know. But anyway, that's it for Below Deck Sailing Yacht. That's it for this episode. So we're gonna go back into trying to decide if you should go back into Tow or just finish up Golden Bachelorette first. I might do a Tow and then we'll head back over. We still have time to do Golden Bachelorette before the show. So we'll do that. But that is that for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.